You say, thank God it's Friday. No, no, no. I say, Shien Godi, IT Smodi. I see everybody gets hyped for the weekend. Everybody's waiting for Friday. But the successful, the hungry, the ones who are grinding for their dreams, they get excited for Monday because Monday means a fresh start. Monday means another shot to be great. Most people dread Monday because they're not doing what they love. But if you're chasing purpose, if you're locked in on your grind, you live for Monday. You pray for Monday. You thank God for Monday. You don't need another holiday. You need hustle. You don't need a break. You need breakthrough. And breakthrough only comes through effort, consistency, and showing up every single day. Stop living for the weekend. Start living for your purpose. When your vision is real, when your dream is alive, when your back is against the wall, you don't sleep in, you don't snooze, you don't quit. You rise, you grind, you execute, and you do it with gratitude. So stop saying, oh, it's Monday. Start saying, thank God I get another shot because somebody didn't wake up today, but wow, you did. Somebody didn't get another chance today, but wow, you did. So don't waste it. This Monday, don't complain. Dominate this Monday. Don't drag your feet. Sprint into your greatness. Thank God it's Motivational. Let's get it. You've got to change the way you think. I'm telling you right now, the difference between those who succeed and those who settle is how they see Monday. Most people, they hate it. They drag themselves out of bed. They complain before they even brush their teeth, and they walk through the day like zombies. But I need you to hear me. You can't walk like that if you're chasing something big. You can't afford to move slow, to think small, to dread the very day that God gave you to rise up and go get it. See, it's all in your mind. It's not Monday that's the problem. It's the meaning you've attached to Monday. You've been trained to think that Monday is the enemy. You've been conditioned to believe that Monday is misery. But I need you to break that mental chain, rewire your thinking, reprogram your beliefs, because the truth is Monday is the start of the opportunity. You get a new week. You get a fresh page. You get a blank canvas to paint your greatness on. But most people don't see it like that. They see struggle, not strength. They see pressure, not possibility. And that's why they stay stuck. That's why they don't grow. That's why they live average, because they haven't made the decision to see Monday as the gift that it is. Listen to me, mindset is everything. The mind controls the body. The mind controls your attitude. The mind controls how far you're willing to push. And if you're starting your week in a negative mindset, if you're starting your week with resistance and dread and bitterness, then you've already lost. You lost before the week even began. But if you shift your mindset, if you decide that Monday is why you are day, then you start to show up different. You walk different. You talk different. You hustle different. When you shift your mindset, Mondays go from being a curse to being your advantage. Because while everybody else is sleeping in, complaining, hitting snooze, you're already up. You're already locked in. You're already grinding. You're getting ahead while the rest of the world is stuck. And that's the power of a new mindset. You've got to stop seeing Monday as the day you return to struggle. Start seeing it as the day you return to your calling, the day you put your hands on your dreams again, the day you go to war for your destiny. Because greatness doesn't come to those who want it easy. It comes to those who are willing to suffer for it, to those who are willing to show up, especially when it's uncomfortable. It's easy to thank God for Friday. Anybody can do that. But it takes discipline, focus, and hunger to wake up Monday morning and say, thank you, Lord, for another day to go to work. Thank you for another chance to become who I was born to be. It takes a champion's mindset to embrace the grind instead of run from it. And don't get it twisted. This ain't about loving a job or liking every task. This is about understanding that your mission is bigger than your mood. Your purpose is bigger than your pain. Your why is bigger than your awareness. So no matter what Monday throws at you, you throw it right back. You walk in with gratitude and you leave with progress. The people who win in life, they don't wait for motivation. They create it. They don't wait to feel good. They move whether they feel like it or not. And that kind of mindset, that kind of mental toughness, that's what transforms Mondays from dread to drive. So I need you to make a decision right here, right now. Decide that Monday will no longer be the day you survive. It will be the day you dominate. Decide that your dreams are worth more than your comfort. Decide that your mindset will be your weapon, not your weakness. And every time that alarm clock rings, you rise with energy, you rise with purpose, and you say it loud. Thank God it's Monday, because if you can win Monday, you can win the week. And if you can win the week, you can win the year. And if you keep doing that over and over again, you wake up one day living the life you used to only dream about. Most people don't live life. They just exist. They're breathing, but they ain't alive. They wake up every day chasing comfort, chasing ease, chasing pleasure. But let me tell you something, pleasure is temporary. Purpose is eternal. You can't build greatness off of what feels good. You build it by locking into your purpose and doing what needs to be done, even when it's painful. You say you want to be successful, but you don't want to suffer. You say you want to be great, but you don't want to sacrifice. You say you want the top, but you don't want the climb. And that's the problem, because pleasure will lie to you. Pleasure will whisper in your ear, sleeping, skip the workout, watch one more episode, take it easy. But purpose will scream, get up. We got work to do. See, I don't live for the weekend. I live for the work. I don't need Friday to feel alive. I feel alive when I'm grinding, when I'm pushing, when I'm walking to my purpose. Because purpose feeds your soul. Pleasure just numbs the pain for a little while. Purpose gives you direction. Pleasure just gives you a distraction. Let me ask you something. What are you running from? What are you hiding behind? Is it Netflix? Is it scrolling? Is it the party every weekend? You know, deep down there's a call on your life, but you've been covering it up with distractions. You've been drowning your purpose in things that feel good, but do nothing for your future. And I'm telling you, it's time to stop. It's time to wake up, because the more you chase pleasure, the more you delay your destiny. Pleasure tells you to take the path of least resistance. But purpose demands that you fight. It demands that you sacrifice. It demands that you go through the fire and come out stronger. And it's not always pretty. It's not always fun, but it's always worth it. Because when you're walking in purpose, every pain has a purpose. Every struggle has a lesson. Every setback is a setup. You think the people at the top got there chasing pleasure. You think the giants you admire got there by taking it easy. No, they gave it all. They paid the price. They put in the hours when nobody was watching. They missed the party. They skipped the shortcuts. They lived disciplined, focused, purpose-driven lives. And now the world celebrates them for what they built in the dark. See, pleasure feels good now, but costs you later. Purpose costs you, but rewards you forever. That's the difference. And I know it's hard. I know it's tempting to go with what's easy. But every time you say no to a moment of pleasure and yes to your vision, you're one step closer to becoming the person you were created to be. There's nothing wrong with enjoying life, but don't confuse enjoying with escape. Don't confuse pleasure with progress. The question isn't whether it feels good. The question is whether it's getting you closer to your goal. Every action, every choice, every decision, you've got to ask yourself, does this serve my purpose? Or is this just something to pass the time? Because time is passing either way. And while you're chilling, someone else is building. While you're scrolling, someone else is studying. While you're playing, someone else is practicing. And in the end, it's not about talent. It's about who outworked who. It's about who chose purpose day after day, even when it was hard, even when it hurt, even when nobody clapped for them. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect day. Choose your purpose even when it's raining. Choose your purpose even when you're tired. Choose your purpose even when you don't see the results yet, because purpose doesn't need applause. Purpose doesn't need validation. Purpose is personal. It's sacred. It's the reason you were born. And the moment you start living for purpose instead of pleasure, everything changes. Your mornings change. Your energy changes. Your circle changes. You stop looking for shortcuts and start looking for the next step. You stop running from pain and start running toward progress. And suddenly, you don't just exist, you live. You want to be great, but you're overlooking the most powerful fuel you've got: gratitude. You think success comes from hustle alone. No, it comes from hustle mixed with humility. It comes from grinding with gratitude. You want to rise. You better learn how to say thank you for every little thing, because greatness isn't just about doing more. It's about feeling more. It's about seeing every single day as a blessing, not a burden. Some of you are walking around with everything you need, but you're acting like you've got nothing. You've got breath in your lungs, but you're complaining. You've got legs that walk, eyes that see, hands that can build, but you're mad because you don't drive a luxury car yet. You're upset because you're not rich yet. You're not where you want to be yet. Listen to me. You can't expect to go to the next level when you haven't even learned to appreciate the level you're on. Gratitude changes everything. It changes your mood. It changes your mindset. It changes your momentum. When you wake up and say, thank you for this breath, suddenly you don't waste your breath complaining. When you say, thank you for this job, you stop dragging your feet and start showing up like the CEO. When you say, thank you for another shot, you start playing like it's the championship, because it might be your last chance to prove you've got what it takes. You want more. Be grateful for what you've got. That's the rule. You can't get increase if you don't know how to honor what's already in your hand. And no, it may not be much. You may not have the house. You may not have the perfect setup, but you've got something. And if you're not using that something to the fullest, why would life trust you with more? See, people think gratitude is passive. It's not. Gratitude is power. Gratitude gives you clarity. When you're grateful, you don't move sloppy. You don't take shortcuts. You honor the process. You don't just go through the motions. You move with intention, because you understand the value of the opportunity. And people who move with intention, they go farther. They last longer. They build real legacies. Some of you are stuck because you've got the wrong spirit. You're not broken. You're just ungrateful. And until you shift that energy, you'll keep running in circles. Life is not going to promote you just because you work hard. It promotes those who work hard with the right heart. You got to show life you're ready, not just by how much you hustle, but by how deeply you appreciate what's in front of you. There were days you used to pray for what you have now. And now that you've got it, you're already asking for more. That's not the mindset that unlocks greatness. That's the mindset that leads to burnout. You want peace. You want power. Start with perspective. Start with waking up and realizing I'm still here. I still have a chance. That means I still have purpose. even the losses, be grateful for those too, because they taught you, they built you. They shaped you into who you are. You don't just thank God for the wins. You thank him for the battles, for the tears, for the late nights. Because without those, you wouldn't have the fire you've got now. Gratitude doesn't mean you settle. It means you strive with a full heart. It means you want more, but you're not bitter while you wait. You're thankful. You're focused. You're disciplined. You're patient because you understand that what you water with gratitude will grow. You speak life over your current situation and life multiplies it. You want to build something that lasts. Gratitude is your foundation because when the pressure hits, and it will, it's gratitude that reminds you of why you started. When the world tells you to quit, it's gratitude that whispers, keep going. When the winds are slow and the applause is gone, it's gratitude that gives you that internal fire to keep showing up, keep pushing, keep believing. So every morning, every Monday, every moment, you say, thank you. You say, I might not be there yet, but I'm on my way. You say, this moment right here, it's a gift. And I refuse to waste it because the ones who rise the highest are the ones who bow the lowest in gratitude. Not because they have everything, but because they recognize everything they have. And from that place of deep appreciation, they launch into greatness. You know what separates the average from the elite? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not how many followers you got or how many degrees you hold. It's consistency. The greatest don't show up once in a while. They show up every single day. Whether it's raining, snowing, they're tired, they're heartbroken, or they just don't feel like it. They show up, and not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, fully present, fully committed. Because real winners understand that greatness is not built in a moment. It's built in the moments nobody sees. It's built in the ground. It's built in the silence. It's built when no one's watching. See, showing up isn't just about being there. It's about being locked in, focused, intentional. It's about walking into every situation like it matters, because it does. Every rep counts. Every phone call matters. Every meeting, every word, every effort, it all adds up. Too many people want championship results with pickup game effort. They want spotlight rewards with behind the scenes laziness. But winners know that what you do daily shapes who you become permanently. You can't expect to climb mountains when your habits keep you on the couch. You can't expect extraordinary outcomes with ordinary commitment. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't reward wishers. It rewards workers. And not just hard workers, but consistent ones. There's a difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Winners don't wait to feel like it. They train themselves to move anyway, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient. You think Kobe felt like shooting 1,000 shots every morning before sunrise? You think Serena felt like training in the cold? No. But they did it because they understood showing up is a non-negotiable. Some of you are only showing up when the mood is right. You're only showing up when things are easy. You're only showing up when there's applause. That's not greatness. That's convenience. And convenience never built champions. Champions are built through pain, through repetition, through the choice to be present even when everything inside of you says, take a break. Winners show up on Mondays when everyone else is whining. They show up early. They stay late. They stay consistent. You don't become great by doing something once. You become great by doing over and over and over again until it becomes part of who you are. You want to win. Then you've got to outlast the excuses. Outlast the doubt, outlast the distractions. You've got to be the one who shows up even when the rest quit, even when you're tired, even when you fail, especially when you fail, because it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. You've got to stop looking at life as something that happens to you and start treating it as something you show up for. You show up for your dreams. You show up for your health. You show up for your family. You show up for your name, because every time you skip out, every time you take a shortcut, you're teaching yourself that average is okay. And I'm here to tell you, average is not okay. It's not about being the most talented. It's about being the most faithful. It's about being the one who can be counted on. Your legacy isn't built in your highlights. It's built in your habits. So if you want to be a winner, then start by showing up for the small things. Show up to read when no one's grading you. Show up to pray when no one's watching. Show up to train when no one's cheering. That's how you build internal strength. That's how you win from the inside out. People always say they're waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the door to open. Let me tell you something. The door don't open for those who wait. It opens for those who knock every day, who knock when they're ignored, who knock when they're exhausted, who knock when their knuckles are bleeding. Show up so often that when the opportunity comes, it's not surprised to see you because you've already proven you're ready. You've got to make a decision today to be a person who shows up. Show up broken, show up scared, show up unsure, but show up anyway, because showing up is half the battle, and it's the part most people lose. You keep showing up, and eventually you separate yourself from the pack. You rise above average. You become undeniable. And once you become undeniable, victory is no longer a matter of if. It's a matter of when. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to live on their own terms. You want to wake up when you want. You want to do what you love. You want success. You want peace. You want financial freedom, emotional freedom, time freedom. But let me tell you something, and hear me real clear. There is no freedom without discipline. None. If you can't control yourself, if you can't govern your habits, your schedule, your emotions, your mindset, then you're not free. You're a prisoner to your impulses. You think freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. That's not freedom. That's chaos. That's destruction. That's the fast track to nowhere. Because when you live without rules, you become ruled by everything. Your distractions rule you. Your laziness controls you. Your fear owns you. You become a slave to your mood, and a slave to your mood will never walk in purpose. A slave to comfort will never fulfill destiny. See, discipline ain't about punishment. It's about power. It's the power to say no when the world is screaming yes. It's the power to stay in when your friends are going out. It's the power to wake up early when your body says sleep. It's the power to train when nobody's watching, to study when nobody's grading, to grind when there's no applause. That's discipline. That's what builds warriors. That's what sets champions apart from everyone else. Some of you are praying for success, but you won't structure your life to receive it. You're asking God to open doors, but you're not waking up on time. You want wealth, but you won't stick to a budget. You want to be healthy, but you can't stop eating junk. You want to be respected, but you won't hold yourself accountable. Listen to me. Discipline is the bridge. It's the thing that connects your dreams to reality. You don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to commit to. Discipline equals freedom because it puts you in control. It allows you to dictate the direction of your life instead of letting life drag you around. When you discipline your mind, you stop being overwhelmed by negativity. When you discipline your time, you stop wasting it on nonsense. When you discipline your habits, you start seeing results. And results, they build confidence. Confidence builds momentum. And momentum changes your whole life. You ever seen somebody truly free? Truly powerful? It's never the person with no rules. It's the person with structure. It's the person with boundaries. It's the person who's mastered themselves. Freedom doesn't come from escaping responsibility. It comes from owning it, owning your choices, owning your time, owning your attitude. That's freedom. That's where the breakthrough happens. Some of you are one routine away from everything you've ever wanted, but you keep breaking your own promises. You say you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and next year becomes never. You've got to draw the line. You've got to get sick and tired of letting yourself down, because when you stop breaking promises to yourself, you start trusting yourself. And when you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Discipline is doing it whether you feel like it or not. It's getting up even when you're tired. It's pushing through even when you're sore. It's focusing when you're distracted. It's choosing growth over comfort, purpose over pleasure, long-term gain over short-term gratification. That's how you win. Not by waiting for the perfect day, but by conquering imperfect days over and over again. You've got to understand that comfort is a lie. Comfort feels good now, but it costs you later. Discipline feels hard now, but it pays off forever. You've got to decide what you want more, the feeling of ease or the freedom of excellence, because you can't have both. If you want to rise, you've got to sacrifice. If you want to lead, you've got to live different. If you want to be free, you've got to be disciplined. When you build discipline, you don't need motivation. You don't need somebody to push you, clap for you, remind you. You move because you've trained yourself to move. You don't depend on hype. You operate on habit, and that habit becomes your identity. You start waking up like a machine. You eat right, you train right, you think right, you live right. And before you know it, you're not chasing success. Success is chasing you. That's the truth. That's the formula. That's the price. Discipline is the path. And when you master that, you earn the kind of freedom nobody can take from you. You keep waiting for the right time, the perfect moment, the schedule to line up with your comfort zone. You keep thinking success is something that happens between 9 to 5. But I'm here to tell you, the grind doesn't care what time it is. The grind don't know your feelings. The grind don't ask if you're tired. The grind don't recognize holidays, weekends, birthdays, or bad moods. The grind is not polite. It's not convenient. It's not built around your preferences. The grind shows up raw, real, and relentless. And if you want to be great, you've got to match that energy. You've got to stop living like life owes you something on a schedule. You think the world's going to hand you greatness on your terms. You think you can show up half the time and expect full-time results. You think legends clock in and clock out like employees. No, legends grind till the work is done. They grind when the lights are off. They grind when the cameras aren't rolling. They grind when nobody's posting about it. They understand that effort is not bound by time, it's bound by purpose. See, most people want the prize but don't want to stay in the fight. They want the title but not the training. They want to be a beast but don't want to bleed. They look at the clock and say, I've worked hard today, that's enough. But the grind ain't based on hours, it's based on outcomes. Did you finish what you started? Did you push past your comfort? Did you execute with excellence? That's what the grind demands. You can't clock out on your dreams. You can't pause your purpose. You can't hit snooze on success. The moment you do, somebody else who wants it more is working while you're resting. Somebody else is running while you're relaxing. Somebody else is learning while you're scrolling. The grind rewards those who go beyond the minimum, who show up before the sun and leave long after the moon rises. The grind belongs to those who outlast the excuses. And let me be real with you. It ain't glamorous. It's lonely sometimes. It's exhausting. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to question the process. But in those moments, you have to remember why you started. You didn't come this far just to be average. You didn't sacrifice so much just to settle. You didn't dream this big to quit when it gets hard. You grind because your future is worth it. Your family is worth it. Your calling is worth it. It's easy to work when you feel inspired. It's easy to grind when everything's going right. But can you grind in the dark? Can you grind when you're broke, when you're rejected, when you're overlooked? Can you grind when nobody believes in you? That's when your true character shows up. That's when the real warriors emerge. The ones who don't need permission. The ones who don't need validation. The ones who are driven by a fire that never dies. You've got to stop negotiating with your goals. Stop saying, I'll tomorrow. Stop saying, I deserve a break. If the job's not done, you don't stop. If the mission's not complete, you don't quit. This isn't about hustle for hustle's sake. This is about building a lifestyle of relentless pursuit. You grind not to impress, but to transform. You grind not to post about it, but to live it. You grind not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Look around. There's no shortage of dreamers, but there's a shortage of doers, a shortage of those willing to wake up early, stay late, and suffer in silence. You want to change your life? Then you've got to change how you move. You've got to build a routine that doesn't depend on how you feel. You've got to develop discipline that outlives motivation. You've got to make commitment your default setting because the grind is 24/7. It don't clock out, and neither can you. There will be days when everything in you wants to rest, when your body aches, your mind races, and your soul questions. But on those days, you've got to remember you were built for this. You were built to keep going. You were built to rise. You were built to finish. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody will, but that's what makes the grind so powerful. It separates the real from the fake, the committed from the curious, the hungry from the satisfied. You want to stand out. You want to be legendary. Then you've got to grind past comfort, grind past fatigue, grind past failure. You've got to be the one who shows up after the others quit, who works after the applause fades, who builds when no one believes. The grind knows no clock, and neither should you. Stop waiting on someone to rescue you. Stop waiting on somebody to motivate you, push you, validate you, approve you, co-sign your dream. Let me tell you the truth you need to hear. You owe you. That's right. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your boss, not your friends, not your mentors. You owe you the life you said you were going to live. You owe you the discipline, the grind, the hours, the effort. You owe it to yourself to stop quitting every time it gets hard. You owe it to yourself to be everything you were created to be. Nobody's coming to save you. That's harsh, I know, but that's the reality. The longer you wait for someone else to do it for you, the longer you'll be stuck in the same place. You want change, then you have to change. You want to go to the next level, then take the next, get up earlier, work harder, think sharper, move smarter. You can't keep pointing fingers. You can't keep blaming people for where you are. Yes, maybe you were dealt a bad hand. Maybe life wasn't fair. But guess what? You're still responsible for what you do next. You owe it to yourself to stop wasting time. Every second you scroll, every hour you spend watching someone else live their dream is a second you're stealing from your own. You keep saying one day, but what if one day never comes? What if this is the day? What if this is your moment? You're not promised tomorrow. So why not give today everything you've got? Why not wake up with urgency, with purpose, with the mindset that today matters? See, we talk about loyalty, but the first person you need to be loyal to is yourself. Stop betraying your own goal. Stop breaking your own promises. You said you'd work out, you didn't. You said you'd read more, you didn't. You said you'd start that business, you didn't. And you wonder why you don't trust yourself. You wonder why you doubt, because deep down, you know you haven't followed through. You can't have confidence without consistency. You can't believe in yourself when you keep letting yourself down. But here's the good news. You can change that right now, not tomorrow, not next week. You can make a new commitment today, not to be perfect, but to be accountable, not to win every battle, but to keep fighting. You've got to get to a place where you stop negotiating with your old self. That lazy excuse making fearful version of you has to die. You've got to bury that person because the real you, the strong you, the focused you, the unstoppable you is ready to rise. When you live with the mindset that you owe you, everything changes. You don't wait to feel like it. You just do it. You don't wait for motivation. You move with mission. You don't wait for applause. You grind in silence. You stop playing small. You stop hiding your gifts. You stop worrying what people think because you realize it's not about them. It never was. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. It's about walking in your purpose with boldness and fire. You're tired. You've been through things. You've been knocked down. Life punched you in the mouth. But you're still here, which means there's still work to do. There's still greatness in you. There's still something you haven't built, written, spoken, launched, created. You owe it to yourself to finish what you started. You owe it to the younger version of you, the one who had dreams, the one who believed anything was possible. You owe it to them not to give up. And more than that, you owe it to the future you, The one who will either thank you or regret your choices. The one who will either be living in abundance or asking what could have been. What are you doing today that your future self will be proud of? What sacrifices are you making? What risks are you taking? What pain are you enduring so that your future can be powerful? No more pity parties, no more excuses. You're not a victim, you're a victor. But only if you choose to be, only if you show up, only if you stop complaining and start creating. Nobody owes you anything, but you owe you everything.